Let's take a look here at Krang. He has 3 Doomsday tokens there. Here's his card back. He also has the Die of Ultimate Destruction. Here's his tokens. He is a solo melee with a good health of 16, move of 1. His ability is Krang has 3 Doomsday machines. Start with 1 machine active. After you roll the Die of Ultimate Destruction, you can deactivate an active machine to re-roll the die. Add +1 to your move value for each active machine. His cards are IQ of 968 is a scheme. Activate all machines, draw this many cards, whatever you roll. Krang recovers this much health, whatever you roll, and then the boost, again, will be whatever you roll. There's 3 copies of that card. All right, so then we have Android Arms Wings. It's a 3 boost scheme and there are 3 copies of it. Move Krang up to this many spaces. According to the die, Krang may move through opposing fighters, then deal 1 damage to each opposing fighter Krang moved through. Gain 1 action. Now his attacks, Android Arms Missiles. 1 value attack, 3 copies. You may play this card face up as a ranged attack. During combat, increase this card's value by this much. Then we have Android Arms Chain Flail. 3 copies, 2 value attack, 3 boost. After combat, if the printed value of your opponent's card is less than the die value or they didn't play a card, they discard 2 cards. And here we have Android Arms Power Bomb. 3 value attack, 3 copies, 2 boost. During combat, you may boost this card. After combat, move the opposing fighter a number of spaces up to the amount of combat damage dealt. His only defense minimizer, 0 value. Immediately decrease the value of your opponent's card by 4. After combat, end the turn. There's 3 copies of that. Now his versatiles, Molecular Amplification Unit. 4 copies. Immediately activate a machine. During combat, increase this card's value by the die result. And then Welcome to the Technodrome, a 2 value versatile, 3 copies. Immediately choose one. Cancel all effects on your opponent's card or activate a machine. And then Pan-Dimensional Portal. You can see its boost value is determined by the die. 2 copies. After combat, place a fighter in the combat in any space. They cannot leave that space this turn. Both players put this many random cards from their hand on the bottom of their deck. Then both draw 2 cards. 3 value versatile. Then his last card, 3 value versatile, 3 copies, 3 boost, Warlord of Dimension X. After combat, reveal the top card of your deck and your opponent's deck. If your card's name is longer, draw it. Now, Krang here is just one of the most chaotic characters in all of Unmatched. Aside from Deadpool, he might be the most chaotic. He's got his 3 Doomsday machines here. They're 2-sided, so you have your active side and then the deactive side. His movement is based off of that, so it's only 1, but if you have all 3 up, you're suddenly a move 4 character, right? And it's not that hard to get them either, or to get the dice result you need. A lot of people think that he is very just luck dependent, but it's not that lucky if I can re-roll, 3 times, and you're not going to run into bad luck. Well, some of you may argue that, but you're not going to run into bad luck 3 times in a row. It's a lot more rare. You'll eventually get what you want. And so it's really not that hard to play as Krang. And it's not hard to regain these. You have your schemes, which I'd rather go over first, but you have this scheme, 3 copies of it, which gets all your machines back and active. You also have the Molecular Amplification Unit. That activates machines. There's 4 copies of that, and then also this. You get to choose one, but one of the options is activating a machine, and there's 3 copies. So 7 just from playing cards from your hand, or from playing attacks and defenses, and the other one straight up from a scheme, and it gets all of them. So it's really not that hard to get what you want. He is solo melee, but it really doesn't matter too much. I mean, look at his ability. He has these 3 Doomsday Machines, and you start with 1 active. Okay, you start as a move 2. The second part of his ability is after you roll the die of Ultimate Destruction, you can deactivate an active machine to re-roll the die. Well, I just rolled a 5, and I wouldn't need to. But you could deactivate one of these, re-roll it, and get another result that you might want. And it's really, really not that hard to get these machines active. And then, of course, your move value is +1. So this character is just kind of bonkers. Let's start off with the schemes. I think that's the most important thing. You'll notice that some of his boost values have this symbol, and that will determine the boost value of that. It could be a potential 5. It could work against you with some characters, but again, you can just re-roll it. It's really not that bad. What I'd say for Krang is make sure that you can re-roll it, because when you don't have any active machines, you're far more vulnerable. But I think still sitting in a good place, because the odds of you rolling the X is 1 out of 6, right? And you rolling a 2, 3, 4, or 5 is far more likely. And usually that's all you'll need. And of course, depending on, for example, you don't want to overdraw maybe. So you want a lower number like a 1, or maybe even nothing. Or maybe you really want to just go in for the attack. So you'll re-roll if you didn't get a high number, 4 or 5, and you know exactly what you need to take them out. And you know what? Even if you're going for a 5 and you roll a 4, it's really not all that bad. And then recovering health is one of the most insane things that he has. He has some incredible health recovery. He can roll his dice and recover 5 health. You've activated all the machines already. So if you just draw whatever cards they say, or if you rolled a small number, okay, you're not decking out, and you're recovering 5 health, that's insane. So let's say you didn't roll a 5, you roll a 3. Okay, maybe you think I could do better, and eventually you roll 4 or 5. Or even a 3 is just still really good, and you don't even have to use up all of your Doomsday Machines. He's really insane. You can do that 3 times. So even if it fails once, big deal. I mean, if you get an average, which is like a 3, 3, 3, 3, that's 6 health in a game just from this card alone, which is just absolutely bonkers. I don't know what they're thinking with this character. It feels kind of rushed to me, regardless of what they might say. Android Arms Wings. So he's got these different cards that are called Android Arms, and this one's called Wings. And you'll move him up to this amount. This is a good sidekick killer, and then you're gaining an action as well. It's also good to just get in and deal damage. So you have a way to deal with sidekicks. Lovely. Another one is Android Arms Missiles, getting into the attacks here. You can play this card face up as a ranged attack. Now it's you may. So you could just go in and not do that if you really want. If you're already adjacent, for example. If you want to keep your distance, especially if you're playing against a melee fighter, you might just want to play it face up. And they still don't really know the value. They might be able to cancel that during combat, but still, they won't know the value that's coming, and they will have an idea of how many machines that you have active. I mean, they have knowledge of that as well, of how many times you could reroll. Android Arms Chain Flail. It's a 2-value attack, 3 copies. After combat, if the printed value of your opponent's card is less than, okay, and of course you can just keep re-rolling till it's less than, most likely. Obviously what I'm saying doesn't apply for some bad luck, but you really, to be that unlucky is insane. It's probably not going to happen. And so they're discarding 2 cards. Obviously you want to play this against one of their weaker cards. That won't cancel it, so that they're discarding, so that they're having to cycle through their deck, and you're keeping their hand real low, and yours obviously more, so that you can hit them with attacks and catch them off guard. Android Arms Powerbomb is a 3, and you may boost it. Okay, great. Well, we can boost it up to 3. That's our highest boost value flat. But we have 2 cards in the deck, I believe just 2. Yeah. So we have this one, just pay attention to this corner and this corner here. So we have 2 of these with the random. So with the Power Bomb, you could boost it with that card, roll. Okay, I just got another 5. And this becomes an 8 all of a sudden. That's absolutely nuts. And then you're moving the opposing fighter number of spaces up to the amount of combat damage. You're getting that board control and placement of where you want them, getting them out of your zone, making it so they have to maneuver, putting them in a bad position, trapping them in a raptor paddock, putting them, getting them off of tokens, just bad positioning for them. Good for you. What a good card. And I think all of his cards are good. Now, 0 defense doesn't sound good, but obviously we know the effect's going to be great. So 3 value, or 3 copies, 0 value, and it's an immediately. So you decrease the value of your opponent's card by 4 immediately. Be careful because they can just do different things that increase their value, even though you've done yours immediately. It won't really matter if they can if they can still boost it, for example, and discard, because whatever their boost value is, you'd be taking that even if they played like an ambushed or something, right? Or something of that nature, or a boostable card. I'm not thinking of any that come to mind right away, or discard, like a beast form. So you've decreased it by 4. A beast form, they have 2 attack on you and they can discard. Okay, that's kind of scary. After combat though, end the turn, that's what's really nice. These kinds of cards in Unmatched are just really cool, especially for characters that you're fighting like against Michelangelo, Shredder, Bruce Lee, Raptors. Well, you're just ending the turn, so they can't continue their chain of attack on you. So keep those when you're up against fighters like that. You're going to need to keep these for when they're stringing together their combos, because that's how those characters really succeed anyway. Okay, molecular amplification unit. Immediately activate a machine. Okay, cool. Immediately just getting a free machine. That's 4 times throughout the game. And then during combat, increase this card's value by boom. So even if you're at 0 of these, you've immediately activated one, and you now can roll. Okay, increase this card's value. This becomes a 4 already, just at a 2. 4 is crazy. Okay, welcome to the Technodrome. Immediately choose one, cancel all effects in your opponent's card. Okay, so we have a cancel here. Functionally like a feint, 3 copies of it. If their effect isn't that great and you don't really care, well, you just activate a machine. How lovely is that? What an absolutely bonkers character. Pan-dimensional portal. Again, it's got that boost value. After combat, place a fighter in the combat in any space. They cannot leave that space this turn. Both players put this many random cards from their hands on the bottom of their decks, then both draw 2 cards. Because of the minimizer and this card here, Pan-dimensional portal, this guy does very well and does very well with characters like Bruce Lee, with Shredder, etc. Because even though they've attacked you and they have gained a ton of actions, it doesn't matter because now they can't move their space and you've moved them away and you've disrupted their hand and their whole plan of attack. Of course, it might help them, but you've disrupted their plan. And then you both draw 2 cards. Okay, so you're just reshuffling. Of course, you can use this to your advantage depending on how many cards they have and how many cards you have. So keep that in mind as well as you're playing that card. And then probably his most unassuming card and most ridiculous one in the deck is Warlord of Dimension X. There's 3 copies. After combat, reveal the top card of your deck in your opponent's deck. If your card's name is longer, draw it. Well, that's pretty long. It's pretty long. That's 2 lines. That's pretty long. That's 2 lines. That's pretty long. That's not. That's pretty long. That's pretty long. That's pretty long. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a deck of 30 that are not a long name. So very reliable for a draw usually. Now Krang is, I think, actually really, really good. I don't think people give him enough credit. I think he's way better than they think because they see dice and they think, oh, random. Well, it's not that random because you can manipulate that with your with these doomsday machines that you can easily recuperate, get them back. So playing against Krang just feels really, really tough sometimes. Of course, you could run into a bout where he's not as reliable, and you've rolled multiple times and you're getting bad results. But that is few and far between. Maybe he's not 100% reliable or what you want, but he's pretty close. He's not just this 50-50 character that people think. He's absolutely insane. All of his effects are bonkers. This is like the weakest effect, and still it's a reliable draw. So what do you have to complain about? And you get to literally play cards that you're not going to deck out before them, usually. That's not a game plan against him, typically. Because he's going to kill you beforehand, or he's going to out health you because he's got 16 health. He can heal a lot, and he doesn't have to draw to deck out because of the rerolls that he can get. And he could play that game. He could hide away if he really wanted to and just chip away at you. And kind of, if you ever watch a game, just go on YouTube, look up a game with Krang in it, and check it out. An experienced Krang, not just somebody that just picked up the character, doesn't know what the heck they're doing, but somebody that has a general idea of Unmatched and has played Krang once or twice. Well, it's really not that hard to get the hang of. You're gonna see that his deck is gonna be, he won't have drawn that many cards. His deck will be pretty thick compared to the opponent's deck. It's just how it is usually. Depends on the opponent you're playing against, the character you're playing against. But what I'm saying is that Krang usually does pretty well and thrives in that area, so he doesn't really ever have to worry. His weakness is not against characters that really bombard him with attacks. His weakness is characters that have huge attacks. That would be his biggest weakness, and really it's not that big of a weakness either. He's got sufficient defense and cancels and things up his own sleeve or robot arm that can deal with that stuff. He's actually a pretty good fighter. I think higher than people are giving him credit for. So I really hope it helps you understand Krang a little bit better, especially fighting against him too, not just playing as him. But if you want to be impressive to your opponent, this is a good, solid character to pick. I mean, he's actually he's reliable. Not 100% of the time, of course, but he is a reliable fighter. And if nothing else, he's going to make your opponent feel bad. So that is Krang. I hope you learned a little bit something about this little chewed up piece of gum from Dimension X.